All right, welcome everybody. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. It's going to be 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time here, coming to you from the great state of Texas on June 8th, 2021. And without further ado, let's get over to the board. Right now, we've got looks like one of our little spy planes up between Fort Sumner and Lubbock, Texas. And this guy's out here doing little routes, lots of circles. Not really sure. But this is a little PC-12. It's the same type of aircraft that we saw over the Phoenix audits, and looks like they're up to the same stuff out here, out in West Texas. So, but that said, let me back up just a little bit. We'll get out of that. Let's get over to the board in its entirety, and we're going to take just a quick gander and see what is up. And I also, you guys may notice I got my dim color back in here. I've dimmed it down so that screen wasn't so bright. I know there's a lot of folks that watch these at night, and having a bug zapper in your living room, front and center, can be kind of hard on the eyes. So I dimmed it down, and hopefully it's a little easier to view. All these fruity pebbles here for new viewers. Everything you see on here due to color is tied to this right here, which is your altitude bar. And orange, so orange is going to be aircraft that are low. Gray is going to be aircraft on ground. And then if they get up here in the purple colors and sometimes red, those are going to be high altitude aircraft. Okay. And so if you get over to the commercial side, which I'm not going to do because it'll just completely clutter up our screen. But if you turn off that U button up there, the screen will just go completely purple. And that's because commercial aircraft are all, up above, 30, 40,000 feet range. And so, but with that said, let's get over here and just take a look. We're sitting at about 286, which is maybe 50 high. It's not like, crazy high, but I did want to point out, we do have what looks to be an R-135 down here in the Central Americas area. Now notice that bad dude is also, now this is a spy plane, okay? So you guys know, notice it's running routes. I don't have a picture of it up right now, but there is a doghouse that's on the side of that aircraft that allows it to get side views. And so it's looking out over this general area as it's flying both sides, okay? But I do say that is interesting, just the fact that we know pretty confident that we had Bob Marley down here, may still be down here in Central America, but looks like we've got one of our birds doing a little running some routes here. And so it's amazing when you really start looking at how many things we have spying on people, how much we are actually doing. It's kind of staggering when you start to really digest it and look at it for what it is. I mean, it's just simply amazing. That's all I can say. So okay, yesterday we were looking, as we were doing a little show with the Patreon folks, we were looking at a lot of aircraft. We had C-130s up, and we were upward of about 30 C-130s up yesterday at one point, and that's a pretty high number. And so what I'm going to do now is we're going to take a look here. I'm going to key in the C-130s first, okay? And then, so this, just going by C-130, we got 14 up here. Now, if you take out the one in here, it goes to C-30Js. And that's going to give us an additional 20. So we're sitting at about 32 C-130s up, which is, that's pretty high. It's a lot higher than we usually see. I typically see maybe a dozen up. So we've got a lot of movement within the C-130 community right now. Not sure what's going on, but data point, all right? Just remember that as we look at other things, right? All right, that said, let me clear this filter. And then what I want to get into is we actually have been, this is something, somebody sent me this bird to look at. And they said it was over the DC area. It's been buzzing and doing a lot of routes and stuff. And so I wanted to go look at it because I thought, you never know. I mean, we've been looking at the Park Police, helos and their activity, which was a little bit suspicious, right? Wait till I show you this one, because this is going to get you. All right, so before I get to that, hang on. I didn't mean to dangle that carrot. Let's just look at Flashbang's schedule. This will be fast. Doesn't have anything going on. He looks like he put on his pants about 10:15 this morning, and doesn't have anything on his calendar from what I can tell. So this dude is is wrapping up pretty early. So looks like a light day. Good for the brain. And let's get over here to this bird. Now this is one that I've been watching. Now it goes by N355AG. And you'll see its last flight about 2 hours ago. 2 hours, 1 minute. It was in White Plains, New York, and then it went down to a Farmingdale, New York. And now it kind of operates in that general area, but it's owned and operated by a company called HoverViews Unlimited Inc. Okay. Now, this is what makes it interesting. So you get a closer look. You guys can see now this is what the bird looks like. So, the report was, man, there's this black and blue, helo that's just zinging all around DC. And so I was like, let me go check it out, because anytime we get somebody that's reporting stuff from on ground that sees it is it's always good to do, right? So that said, I'm going to dig into it more, but I want to show you a couple things. Okay, now let's go back. Let's look at where this helo has been. Okay, first of all, this is just since Saturday. Now it's been flying around quite a bit, but notice that it is up here in Wilmington. Okay, now remember who we had out here on the beach. We've got, this thing's up here in New York, and I'm going to show you some other flights. But why is it in Wilmington? I thought this was interesting. Okay, data point. Let's go back and look at some more flights. And when I show you what it does, you guys are going to go, what in the what? Okay, so we got it in Newcastle. Right, that's here is in Maryland. This one here, this is a flight. Let me get that thing to load. But here it goes. Now, does that flight pattern look a little familiar to you when it comes out of DC, headed up, kind of rolling this way, just like N22 and N11 PP, right? Those helos headed up here. Now, that is where Flashbang goes. All right. So now we've got this aircraft, this helicopter, that is going from DC up to here. And when I show you what it does, you're going to go, I said, what the what? This is strange. But it's been, Farmingdale, New York. It's been down in different areas, but it's been doing a lot of legwork here this was Sunday, and came down. That comes out of Indian Head, Maryland, to Wilmington, Delaware. So now you've got it in the general vicinity of, now you're in DC. You're in the brown zone here, okay? And it continues on, and so it's not just that. All right, we'll keep looking here. Let me pull another one from Saturday. Here's one where it's running routes. Look very similar to what the park police are doing, right? Running these routes, doing some crazy stuff. Okay. I've dangled the carrot long enough. Now let me show you what this thing does, because when I show you, you're going to go, here we go. All right. This helicopter is actually owned and operated by a movie studio. Okay. HoverViews Unlimited, and it's got this big camera that runs and mounts on the front, and it basically flies around getting pictures. Now it's big in the movie studios. You can go over here to the gallery, which we'll do in just a second. But here it is. You can see they throw different logos onto it according to the need. Like that one right there looks a lot like Park Police. Very similar, if you notice. That looks like the Park Police symbol on the thing. But they're known for aerial views. This is Captain America, okay? And it's just an interesting. Here's another little shot over here. You guys can see as we kind of go through. Here's one for you. Ground prop cinematography. Okay, does that get your attention? So they've got this thing dialed in. All right, now you can go look at all their different things that they do. Right, location scouting, ground prop cinematography. That's what we just looked down. Ground to air videoing. Right, aerial coordination, air to ground movies, and then air to air. So they do it all right? And this is another shot of that helicopter. But now you go back and you look, all right? Let's see. Let me go to gallery real fast. So we'll just kind of show you some of the things that they do if they've got them up. It looks like it's mainly videos, but you can see this guy, he's pretty famous. He does some great work. You've definitely seen his work in movies. And there's a little shot of it right over here where you can really see, you know, that big camera mounted on there. Now, you go back and look, notice he's doing routes around DC, okay? Up the waterways, but okay, maybe they're going to do some filming around the DC area and they need some footage, some good, you know, movie style, you know, quality footage, which that would certainly do, okay? But why would you fly this flight up to Delaware? Okay? And it's there, like Newcastle, right? Here we go. This is a flight, you know, rolling here. This is in Wilmington now. It's headed over to New York. Okay, we go back and you've got it going out of Maryland to Newcastle. That was on, when was that? Sunday, June 6th. And it's been, like I said, as I started to look at this, I'm like, wait a second, this is looking pretty similar in nature. Sorry, if you see me looking around, I've got the 10-week-old puppy is at my feet, and she's entered a new phase, which is called zoomies. And in my studio, there's a lot of wires hanging, and for all the lights and everything that's in here, there's a lot of lighting, and so she'll start grabbing a hold of something, and I can see lights moving and keyboards moving. So I apologize if I look like I'm losing my focus here, because that's the reason why. So okay, that said, everything still seems to be operating just fine. So but here we go, out of DC and headed up here into Wilmington. And so again, this is to me, this is kind of suspect, because we've already had a lot of information that's gone out that talks about movie sets and weird things like that. And then to find this thing in the mix doing the same thing as these other aircraft makes you start to, you know, it does definitely raise your eyebrows. I can't explain it. It's a data point, but you know, just keep adding them up, because, like, you know, eventually, I mean, how many times can you do things where it is no longer a coincidence? Okay. So that said, this is the latest. The latest was in Westchester, PA, which is White Plains, down to Farmingdale. Now, I do see another interesting data point, because you're going to notice some continuity between the flights that we track and the locations that we keep seeing. Things like this, all kind of, you know, same places, same locations. So that said, this is going to be, like I said, this is tied to the Aerobase Group, and it's a company out of New York, but it's not New York City. It's actually up in the northern side of New York. And again, just remember what we're watching. Look at that. That right there that's Park Police. I'm pretty confident that symbol on the side there. But yeah, you've got it. It could explain some things that we've seen where we just you can't quite put your finger on it. And it could explain why people are getting so much heat for trying to get live videos of what's going on up there and sharing it. You know, you've got people actually being arrested because they're making pictures. So now this is going to be Park Police. This is N22 PP. And let me kind of zoom in on this a little. This doesn't give me, yeah, this is one of the older photos of N22 PP. There's actually right here on the side the logo for the Park Police that goes on the side, just like that helo that we just looked at in the picture. It's a little bit different color, doesn't have the silver. It's blue and black versus blue and silver. But let me back up here as Green wants to hang up. But again, right, we see these Park Police doing very similar routes, you know, around the White House. Now that, to me, that's security. That's what they should be doing. It's when they bolt out of here and they head to, you know, Newcastle, right? It's when they start doing this, okay? And then you go over here to this and you look at the same thing, right? Okay, so you guys tracking? Follow me? This is headed, same thing. Now, this is 8:26 to 9:30 p.m., so my screen looks darker. That's why it's so dark, because it's actually taking in consideration that it's nighttime outside, so it gives you a different view. Probably a setting I have on or I flipped on, but needless to say, you know, you get these. This was on May 25th. This one was on this past Sunday. So this was the June 6th. But again, you've got them. Same thing. Why would a film studio be headed to Wilmington and doing work up there? Don't have an answer. I have a thought, but I don't have an answer. This is going to be in 11 pp. This is also Park Police. All right, now this one will give us a better view. See the badge on the side? All right. Now that, notice it just says U.S. Park Police. The other one said police on it, but for a movie, they, I don't know how old that photo was either. So, okay. Now that said, this is going to be the Park Police, and again, you can see. Let me see if it's got any castle. Here we go, Newcastle. So this one, same thing here. We'll just pull up a route. Now this is headed the other direction, but you can still see, right? Here we go again, right? And that's going to be Park Police. This is going to be Film Studio. Park Police, Film Studio. All right. That I think that may have gotten some attention. I don't know. That's a data point that kind of makes all the other stuff that I've heard kind of go, huh, interesting. That's all I can say. Huh. All right. So that said, check this one out. Now, we've been talking about Guantanamo Bay quite a bit. We've been talking about how there have been a fair amount of out-of-sequence birds coming in. Now, yesterday we were looking for one of the aircraft, which was let me just double check here. Where did you go? In 631JS. Okay, and here it is on our board. Now, I was talking about in our last SITREP that I was looking for this when it was hitting a Tuesday-Friday schedule, and it looked like it was hitting a regular tempo up until yesterday, and then that stopped. So this bird came in 2 weeks in a row, Tuesday, Friday. My only thought, based on the type of aircraft and the fact that it's a pretty high-end aircraft, my only thought is that maybe we have a team of legal eagles that were coming in, special counsel or something like that, and they've leased this aircraft, and that was basically their tempo. They've done their work, and they're gone. But one of the things that seems to have dropped off is our regular flights out of Lauderdale that are the airline ones, right? We were getting, for a while there, we had contractor Learjets that were coming out, run by an airline regularly, okay? And the airline was this one here, which is going to be IBC Airways, okay? And so they would run these little Learjets Tuesday, Fridays. And that's what I thought maybe that was a replacement. But it doesn't appear that's the case. Now, if we would look closely, so we've got out of sequence going on up. That one that's your Maxwell bird. Pop back in, out of sequence. Out of sequence right above it, out of sequence right above it, out of sequence. Another one, that's going to be a Learjet 55. That's the one that dropped off our board the other day that I was actually trying to find. And that's going to be LN 989W. And it actually wasn't on the board yesterday. We were looking and it had disappeared. Now it's back on. Go figure. But here's the thing about that. I think that LN right there is a life flight. Okay. Most of the time when I see something precursor LN, that's just a special nomenclature that identifies it as a medical flight. Okay. Same with this one right here. So we've got a medical flight on Friday, midday, that came in from Lauderdale and went right back out. I think it went right back to Lauderdale. I'll look here in just a second. And then on Saturday, the next day, we had another life flight, and this was Worldwide Aircraft Services, Inc. out of Tampa. And we've seen that bird at Guantanamo Bay before, but that's another life flight that's come into Guantanamo Bay via Tampa. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on these, and then of course we got this one came in today, and so that is an out of sequence. So we've got one, as we just kind of go up the board, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus the ones that have dropped off. We're probably approaching 10 out of sequence, out of tempo birds that fit that criteria that we've been watching for over 2+ years relative to Guantanamo Bay that are not in the schedule. They just pop in. They are what I would categorize as the perfect storm in terms of aircraft for bringing in HVT. Okay, they move fast. They can land on a lot of small things. They have good range, and they can carry a small team of security detail plus HVT. That's why they are ones we're watching. All right, and they're known aircraft that operate for the agencies. We've caught them in the past. There have been articles written by international companies that actually call out these company names. And so that's how, when you're looking on this board, you're like, oh, these charters that are all coming inbound, they're using the daylights out of charters. They always have been. And it's because they don't really want to use a military asset to go do stuff they're not supposed to be doing. Right. And so that just keeps them clean. And that's why. So, all right, so let's go here real fast, because we were looking at this one the other day. I want to see where it actually went to. Now, it looks to be a Lear 55. My guess is you take off, you drop the L, and you use the N number, which is N989AW, and you probably can find some information out about it. Now, I've looked, and it says it doesn't want to be tracked by the owner. But let's look at where it has been prior to coming over. It was out here in the Bahamas, and it was in Lauderdale. It was in Clearwater, back in Lauderdale over to the spa. This thing's been kind of all over the place. St. Martin's, Orlando. Okay, so that's this one. Now we go and look at the other one, 65 LJ. It came out of Tampa. Now this is a picture of the bird. You guys can see it's got a world map on one of the engine cowlings on the back, and nice plane, right? Very nice plane. Probably all it does is medical flights, if I had to guess. But let's see where this one has been. Okay, now because I was looking at it and I'm thinking, man, this thing just popped in Opelika right there, Xpl Honduras. All right, so prison site, black site we've been watching. All right, get out here to the Bahamas, and that's definitely a site we've been watching. And so Saturday went to Guantanamo Bay, back to Lauderdale. This is another site we're watching. Now you've got it Tampa out to Columbus, Ohio, but that is one. All right, so this thing's been pretty interesting. Actually, did I see Arizona on there as well? Yeah, Scottsdale, Arizona. Okay. Now let me back up. Let's hit this one here. This is the one that came in today. And this is also operated by the same company, Phenom 300 LLC, which looks to be somebody that's just won some new contract business with agencies, because I've never seen these guys operate before. But you can see it's, let me just kind of zoom in on the aircraft. Beautiful little bird, got some winglets on it. It's a silhouette there. But rolled out this morning, 6:21 a.m., rolled in at 7:55. That seems to be kind of the zone where these flights are leaving pretty early in the morning, usually between 6 and 7 a.m. Every once in a while you'll see them come in a little earlier than that, but not so much. So let's see where this one has been. Okay, see if we got anything on here that catches our eye as we kind of go through it. Now this is all just the month of June. Tuesday, June 1, it was in Opelika. Okay. It's been out to, that is Trinidad and Tobago, if I'm not mistaken. Palm Beach International. But again, that's one we're watching. All right. So when I see that on there and I see the bird, that gets my attention. Now notice that it's been up here in Atlantic City, doing a little hang time up in Jersey, West Hampton Beach, New York. This one kind of gets my attention up here in the New Jersey side, just because we know T-Man has been up here. Now that's a little ways from him, but if you go and look at the spy birds that are up there doing their recon, and you look where Atlantic City is, all right, now this one was a day ago, landed a day ago, but let me see if I can get it to, Atlantic City's right here. Okay, and this thing is up doing routes all along this area and in here. Okay, so Coincidence? I don't know, but definitely interesting. All right. Again, rolling out. There's Westchester, White Plains. Where have we seen that before? That one's in Greenville. That's South Carolina, not North Carolina. Down in Miami, Newcastle. Okay, here we go. Now look at this one. What's it doing in Delaware? Down to Miami. Who do we know that's in Delaware besides the film crew? All right. So that was on Monday the 7th. So yeah. And then let's see. So went Newcastle to Miami, Miami over to Lauderdale place. That's our site. Now that's the main Miami and not Opelika. But then so you're in Newcastle on the 7th, which was yesterday. And then today it shows up in Guantanamo Bay. So did we have an exercise going on yesterday in the Metroplex? Up in the brown zone? We did. And so now we've got another bird showing up. And what do we have here? This looks to be 11 to 12. So that one's just finished up. That's Eastern time. That is putting it in Bahamas. So Guantanamo Bay back to our site, then over here to Bahamas, and then from Bahamas back to Lauderdale. Now, I'm not sure where that location is in the Bahamas. We'll take a quick look. Pretty close. That right here. So this is the site we've been eyeballing. Remember that runway right here? That's no man's land, okay? And that's a site we've been watching for our, interesting. We kind of think maybe a black site. That's right there. A lot, it's just right. Hop, skip, and a jump. Maybe safe house. I don't know. Oh man, I'm telling you, when the spa starts heating up like it is, that's 10 out of sequence birds in 2 weeks. All right, and it started mid-May, and now we are, mid-May is when we start to see the uptick of kind of strange activity going on. Now we're at June 8th, and again, these spots. Here we are. This is interesting. Like I said. Okay. Now, I would just say, please don't take me out of context. I'm not. I'm just pointing data out. You can make whatever determination you want from your own data. I'm providing the data points. You guys can make your own decisions up. I'm not saying it is one thing or another. I'm just giving you the data based on observation, based on, there are a lot of other little things that that's why it caught our attention when it comes to film crews, which is kind of strange. Okay. So we've looked at 301 AZ, which is a new, landed today out of sequence into the spa. This is 631 JS. This is the one landed 2 days ago. And another one, notice it was here on Friday at the spa, went back to Lauderdale, but it rolled out of Lauderdale over. So it's been actually, look at this. It's been, how many times it's been to Guantanamo Bay? That's quite a few. And there's that little runway remote location out in the Bahamas right there. Guantanamo Bay, Baltimore, Washington. Okay. So it looks like it was up here in Baltimore, came out of Boca, went to Baltimore, came back, went to Lauderdale, and then over to the spa. So that may be your onboard point right there. Okay. All right. Now let's go over here and look at the Phoenix birds. Let me just see here real fast. Actually, that's not the Phoenix bird. So, okay. I saw the PH and I immediately started thinking Phoenix, but this is the bird that T-Man rode. It's a lease. Okay, so he basically rented an aircraft, and remember his big one is it's in maintenance right now. They're throwing some new engines on it, and but so Saturday it came out of Morristown, New Jersey, and it went to Greenville, North Carolina for his speech. And then it returned Saturday evening, Greenville to here. Now, I don't think he has been on it since then. I just don't. He could be using it, but I think this is where he basically got on, got off, done. Okay. It actually rolled into this location at 11:10, and 20 minutes later it was wheels up, headed to Farmingdale, New York. Now, that is the same location. If you remember, that our media bird, our cinema bird is actually buzzed in and out of. Okay. So Yeah. Like, what are the odds? Like I said, they're all around the same areas. Like, like it's just kind of crazy. Here, right here, Farmingdale, New York. That was Friday, May 28th. And I thought I saw it again here, right here. Sunday, June 6th, Farmingdale, New York. And this aircraft is, let me get it back up here again. Saturday, right? No, that's Morristown. Sorry. Uh, right there. Yeah, Saturday evening, that night, Farmingdale, New York. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know. There's like things that you just uncover and you go, you start peeling the onion and you just can't get your head all the way around it because it's like, you know, they're all in the same spots. They're all using the same locations and don't know. I don't know. All right. All right. Let's head over to XPL Honduras. Again, this is one of our prison locations. Let's get onto our board. It was actually populated a minute ago. There's our medical bird, came out of Tampa that we just saw arrive yesterday in Guantanamo Bay. So it looks like it came out here. XPL Honduras went back. And if we go back to departures, we'll see that bird actually leaves and goes to, where'd you head to? New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico. All right, and somehow ended up at the spa. So, okay. These birds here departed the Little Rock and Charleston. Those are going to be reach aircraft. That's going to be either troops or supplies, okay? Let's go to en route, see if we've got anything on the board. No. All right. We will move on over to the next one. Now, this is N312FU. This is going to be what we call our Maxwell bird, all right? And, you know, for those not familiar with this, this is the bird that we found, we actually discovered because it showed up at Guantanamo Bay right around within, you know, a day of Maxwell's arrest, okay, Miss Maxwell. And so that's why we're watching it. Now, this one catches my eye because if you notice where it's coming out of, and it's coming out of Key West and headed up to Bedford, Massachusetts. But if we go down here and we look, let's see, it was in Opelika, and then it went to Key West. All right, we got it up here in New Jersey, Opelika. Oh, what's that? Farmingdale, New Jersey. Let me see here, Teterboro, New Jersey. So remember, as we were watching, here it is, Atlantic City on Wednesday. Remember, we've got this aircraft that's up flying routes, right? That's New Jersey, right off the coast, okay? And now all of a sudden we've got these birds coming out of that same area and headed into the spa and lots of other areas. And so the Key West one was one I just caught, and I'm going to find it here. Now I know why I have it where it is. All right, so this is Monday. You've got the Maxwell bird that is leaving Key West and headed up here, up to the northeast, okay? Now, let's go over to, this is Jenna 126, which is N721AL. That is going to be your Department of Justice. And would you look at that? Monday, June 7th, Key West, Florida. What are the odds? All right? So you've got the DOJ in Key West, and then they leave and come back. So it came out of Manassas on Monday the 7th on that little Dash 8, which is a high wing. That right there is one of your DOJ deployment teams. All right, these are like your go teams that go out and handle whatever big is going on the horizon. And so, yeah, here you have it. They come out of Manassas on Monday. They fly down to Key West. All right. Well, let's go back to 312. Monday, June 7th, Key West, headed back to Bedford, Massachusetts. But there it is. Opelika over to Key West. That's on Monday. It's 10:41 a.m. Arrives at 11:20. Let's see when the DOJ arrived. DC. Okay, so we've got the Maxwell bird arriving from Opelika to Key West. They arrived at 11:20 a.m. And here you have the DOJ showing up in Key West at 11:37, 20 minutes later. Coincidence? Yeah, I don't think so. All right, so let's see where the big guy's been. So this is Jenna 622. This is going to be your Bill Do Nothing Bar replacement. And looks like he is up in, this was 20 hours ago, he's in Vermont and into DC. So it looks like he basically just rolled out on Monday, the same day, about 3 p.m. So a couple hours after those other guys. But it looks like he rolled up to Burlington, Vermont, and then back to the brown zone. All right. Okay. Now let's go over here. This is going to be our immigration birds. I will tell you, I'm not going to overkill this one because there's a lot of folks that are covering it. What I will tell you is that their coverage is supported by these flights. Okay. So what they're seeing on the ground, the aircraft, the tail numbers, everything eyes on, is confirmed by my flight trackers. Okay. And so rather than pull it in and show people getting off buses and all the other stuff, I'm not going to do that just because it's going to create eyes on me that I don't really need right now. I try to, but I would just tell you that it is a definitely going on. All right. And these people are basically coming from down in Central America and Mexico, being flown to San Antonio and then taken to other locations from there. And we've got people filming in El Paso where we see the exact same things going on. And so we've got flights that come out of El Paso and out of Brownsville and out of McAllen, all border towns, flying across into different parts of the country in the U.S. Okay. And so that's all I'm really going to tell you. They're just, the flight data confirms what videos they are showing you. So here's El Paso headed into Albuquerque. Okay. So they're basically just scattering these people all over the country. All right. Now, this is going to be the airline that's doing most of the work. I will tell you that it's Swift Air. And I will tell you that here's another one right there. You just see this one. Border town, right? Headed over to Miami. So you catch it live. So here we go. Where's our border town? I'm just going to click on that. It'll take us over to it. McAllen, Texas, headed over to Miami right there. And if we get in closer, you can see, friends, this is your border right in here. All right. Right there's your border. And so this is a border town. And yeah, they're basically they come right in, get on an airplane, and they're flying them right out. So I think I said McAllen. This is actually, yeah, no, that says McAllen. Okay. But yeah, so this just is confirming everything that we've already seen. We've known in the past that Atlas Air was doing those routes. They may still be doing it. I haven't been watching them just because there have been way too many shiny objects that we've been chasing. And so very busy to say the least. So that said, let me get back over to our main map. I'm going to take a quick look at just the U.S. We're going to peel the onion from left to right, and we'll start out here in Hawaii, just see if we've got anything going on. Now, we do know we have several Google balloons that are active out here that aren't showing, okay, but they were there the last time we looked. And so if you're in, Oahu or Hilo or, like the Big Island or anything like that, or Maui, you've got 2 Google balloons in your vicinity that are probably eyes on everybody and everything. Okay, that said, looks like we've got a Ghost 53, which is going to be, that's a U.S. Marine Corps Gulfstream. It's a pretty slick looking plane. Looks like that bad dude is just rolling out. He's climbing out at about 33,000 feet and leaving Oahu. And then we've got a C-17 that's just departed, as well as looks like a tanker that's up. So we probably got some guys flying. Yeah, you see that little route that he's running there? That's called a marshalling pattern. And they'll sit up there and just run that, doing air refuels. And so typically you don't get them in the turns, in the straights where the fighters will come in and hook up, and then it doesn't take long for those guys to fill up. And so he's at 25,000 feet, which is kind of the optimum altitude where we see most of the refueling activity going on. And if you've ever been out there, a lot of F-18s and a lot of F-22s out in Hawaii. So that's probably who's getting the juice All right, that's Hawaii. Let's get over here to the East Coast, or sorry, West Coast, east of Hawaii. We've got three P3s up in the Seattle area, which is it's kind of normal as of late. They don't seem to be going out over the land, which I always find interesting. Or sorry, over the water. This one is. Usually they're just kind of flying around out here, and I don't get that. But this guy looks like he is definitely running some routes right off the coast. I don't know if any of that is tied into this fault line that we've had some activity on. That looks like the general area. So they may be, doing some ocean bottom looking. This is where we kind of see him usually out here just doing stuff. Yeah. But then over here to the right, we've got what looks to be two ship of C-17s that are actually, let me see if that's an air refueler. So this guy is looks like he just hooked up for some fuel. So it looks like we've got an air refueling 22,009.7, 22,002.7. Yeah, it looks like he just got some fuel. He's breaking off. Kind of cool when you see that on the map. And let's see here. So that guy is getting a little gas and go. And let me head on down the coast. Now this is going to be DC-10 air refueler. And then as we get over here a little bit further, see what we have. That's a little CJ, a couple fighters, like T-38s, those are little lawn darts. Lots of air refuelers. So air refueler, air refueler, air refueler. That is an F-35 Lightning. Don't see those very often. That's a cool icon to watch. Probably out there at Nellis, I would imagine. Or, out here at Nellis, but it looks like he's bugging out over on the California side. And 60, lots of lawn darts. So trainers, more trainers, these little Tex 2s. That one is going to be an air refueler. It looks like it is 225 feet and 0 vertical rate. So he's just level it. So he's probably landing, in Yuma. So, all right. And then these are all trainers right here. And then a C2, which is you guys get a good look at that. But this is made for landing on little carrier decks, little troop transport. It's how they get the mail, from what I understand, on and off the boats. But that little tail hook right there is for hitting the wires when they land on the deck, carrier deck. Okay. Let me see. Let me back it up here. A little C-17 come in. I don't know what that dude was doing. Looks like he rolled out off the coast. And it's coming out of New Mexico. Now, we did have the other day, I do see a couple B-52s out here. 3 of them. Oh, no, 2 of them. Sorry. No, 3. There's 3. We did have the other day, what was it, a 9 ship or 11 ship of C-130s that came out of Nellis Air Force Base that were headed eastbound. So I think they ended up, I'm not positive, somebody said Arkansas, but we kept losing them. They were on and off, but don't see 11s 11 of them very often. Actually, we got 4 B-52s up. So we've got this one here. Looks like it is, these all come out of Barksdale Air Force Base, which is in Bossier City and Shreveport, I think. Kind of for the most part, you say Shreveport. Not too many people know where Bossier City is, but anyway, looks like that one's just doing some turnarounds here. Another one up. So you got 4 B-52s up, which is, don't see those too often, at least not 4 of them. The other guy just disappeared on me. Let me hit persistence, see if I can get him back. Oh, here he is right here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, this congestion, it's all trainers. Now that one, so he's probably, let me just see. Yeah, he was doing touch and goes at Carswell. Now that used to be Carswell Air Force Base, now called the JRB, out in White Settlement, west side of Texas. West side of Fort Worth. That those guys are just, you see B-52s out there, quite a bit. They come out of Shreveport Bossier City, Barksdale. They'll do touch and goes here, and because it's a pretty big runway, and so that's all we got going on. Some touch and goes. Kind of a neat sight to see B-52s flying, because they're just so odd in the air. They make a lot of noise, blow a lot of smoke, but they fly nose heavy. So every time you see them, they're just nose down. They look like they go really slow, like they're not really much, but those bad dudes will drop in and do low levels, 80, 90 feet off the ground. And if you know the wingspan on those, it doesn't give you a lot of sideways motion, nor does it get you into very many canyons. And so they'll drop down just, it's insane, below buzzards. And I've been on those flights, so it's a crazy thing. When you get down below the birds, and you're pretty low. So okay, so let's get over here to the East Coast and see what we've got. We've got a P8 that's out here off of Jacksonville. This is Cape Canaveral, Jacksonville up here. So you got the port. Looks like he's running some routes here. What's his altitude? 14,000 feet. Got a secondary coming out. Like that one's just taken off. So got some sub activity off the East Coast probably. And B350. See there. Forge 31. That one's coming down. Looks like that one's DC maybe. All right. A couple C-17s. And let's get up here to a little further into DC. Looks like they're getting smacked up here in the Northeast. Here's Baltimore, Washington. Looks like they got some weather rolling through. So C-45. Some severe weather, actually, those thunderstorms. Those guys will be avoiding that. So with that up in the area, you're probably going to get most of these guys staying out of it and not seeing anything. That's the Army. Now, Army 644 is a B350 that was running routes the other day. I actually got that one on our list for doing surveillance. So let's see what it was out here doing. Looked like it was off the coast, little bow shape there, running back. But yeah, this is also one of our little, I think that is one of our spy birds that was doing some stuff as well. Okay, so that said, let's kind of roll over here to the other side. Now that's just going to be, who is that actually? That's the Canadian military and a little Airbus. All right, no idea what they're up to. All right, let's see who this belongs to. That's the U.S. So that's an air refueler coming across. So there may be some fighters coming back with that, and they'll typically fly together. And then, they don't have enough juice to get them across the drink. So you typically, when you see air refuelers out in this area, it's usually because you got fighters trying to make it across, going one way or the other. Now we have persistence on. We've got a Eurofighter over Israel that looks like it's just out here buzzing around, and then we've got this A-32. My screen just went black. Hopefully it comes back. Not the puppy. Let's give it a second to see if it. Hopefully it'll marinate and pull in the flights. If not, I'll have to do a complete reset. And it's kind of strange how that happens, isn't it? So, but it looked like we had some aircraft there in the Middle East. They're getting kind of jiggy. Let me turn off the, okay. Yeah, so now we've been seeing a B-52 up in this general area for the last couple of days. These look to be air refuelers. That's going to be one of your A400s. It looks to be Germany. And, oh yeah, that's good fancy writing there. Let me get over here and change that so I can actually read what they're saying. Okay, yeah. So this is Bahrain. Yeah. So that's Germany coming out of this general area. Looks like they're headed home. And then we've got this Saudi Arabian C-130 that's up. And all right, that's the one I was looking at, which is a British airplane. Let's see, coming out of, so you got Damascus here, Nazareth, Haifa. I don't know where, that's Jordan, I guess, coming out of part of Jordan. So that's the outline. Okay, and of course the Eurofighter, and it's Greece. Okay, not too much really. For the most part, now we get over into this general area. We've got Germany, looks like a lot of helos. Got these French birds that are up. Let me just double check. Yeah, that's the little Dassaults. I don't know who those are. That's a little two-ship coming out of, let's see here. Where are they headed? Towards Paris, it looks like. So same birds too, really. They're the same. Got the French flag on the tail. I don't know why they don't just make them all white. Personally, that's the real French flag. Yeah. So No telling who's on that. That could be Macron. It may not be. Ain't no telling. Looks to be headed back into France. Everything else, now that's one of your spy birds. That's a C-135, and that's a French one. And he's just actually looks like he's headed out towards Le Mans. And so here's France, and this is Le Mans up here. All right. Okay, folks, that I think is going to sum us up. I'm not seeing anything else really catches my eye. These B350s now, those could be, that could be a spy bird, a little 350. Look at all the antennas on it. Yeah, definitely doing something other than just flying. So yeah, I think that may be one of those two that we have to add to our list of just kind of keeping eyes on and see if he's doing anything at all other than, nah, doesn't look to be. You got one on the ground, one up. So it doesn't look like he was up to anything. And let's get over here just real fast. Somebody had asked me to kind of keep an eye on Yemen, see if we had any activity going on. And I don't see really anything happening from a Yemen perspective. It's like this, it's not, at least from a military perspective, I don't see anything up. So nothing over here as we watch down the South American side. These are all, there's an E, these are Brazilian aircraft, so you expect to see. Now that one's going to be, yeah, these are all Embraers and stuff, so you expect those A310s. That's actually Spain coming in, so nothing, and of course nothing down here. All right, okay, folks, that's going to get us through our SITREP for today. Went a little bit long because we were talking about movie reels and popcorn and all that other good stuff. So this is one we're going to kind of keep an eye on. I don't know what's going on, whether or not that is actual connected. Again, it's just a data point for you, but when I see some of the elements that we have been watching that raise questions, you know, about studios and different things like that, and then you see this bad dude, you know, taking shots all around the general metroplex and then headed up to the same location as where Flashbang lives, definitely going to catch your attention. I skipped off of the TFRs today. We didn't show them, and I didn't show volcanic activity. We'll get back on those later in the week, but I just got to a point where I had so much stuff chalked in there I didn't want to go extremely long, and I could have. All the aircraft that we track, this thing I could go on, it's going to be like 4-hour sit reps, and we don't want that. So all right, folks, that's going to be it. Listen, stay safe out there, and you know, keep your head up. There is hope, okay? And we will eventually figure these things out. And somebody's going to trip up sooner or later, and then it's going to all just come unraveled, and we're all going to be standing around with our jaws on the ground, just like, what just happened? I can feel it. There's something definitely strange going on, folks, and you guys know it as well. It's why we do this stuff, okay? So that's going to be it. God bless. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear at Monkey Werx, US.